Are you a wedding or a portrait photographer who currently is selling albums and wants something different and new? My name is Meredith Rincars, and I am a wedding and a boudoir photographer based out of Savannah, Georgia. And here on the Restart Specialist, I'm going to share items with you that are going to be a great new offering to your potential clients. So let's go. So for years, I have offered traditional style albums within our studio for our boudoir and our wedding clients, and I love them. I am a paper snob. I love books of any kind, and the more artfully designed, the better. And I adore a good coffee table book. So when H&H Color Lab put out these new Aura albums, I had to get my hands on them. And so while we still have our traditional offerings for albums in the studio space, I could not wait to share these new modern style albums with you. And so they come in multiple sizes and have a lot of different offerings. So let's dive into that. All right, let's dive into why I love these albums. So this is an 11 by 14 Aura album with a slipcase, and it's got the slipcase wrap, which is this part here. That, when I was first designing these, was a little bit new to me, coming from the traditional side of albums. But slipcase cover, slipcase sleeve. And they do have some fabric material that you can wrap them in. I do love that for our boudoir albums. And then this can be selected when you order it based off of the style and color and design of what your photos look like. So this has been matched to my client's images and the clothing that she was wearing. And so when you pull this out, you have the ability to have a photo cover on the front, which I love that for that modern look. You can also do several other things with this, which I'm going to show you. The next size that I offer is a step down from the 11 by 14, and that is the 8 by 10. This is an example of one of the wedding albums that I would be offering to our clientele. This is a real wedding, and this is that couple's monogram that they had custom made. So this is a way that you can go beyond that fabric wrap and you can personalize this yourself for your clients, whether that is a monogram that they had made for their wedding, or if you wanted to digitally create something yourself. And again, I'm pulling from the style of that client, the pink and the flowers, and I'm taking that slipcase sleeve here and matching that. And then going the next step and doing the same thing with designing the cover for this album in that way. I could do a photo here, but I felt like this really just elevated it to that coffee table, that modern look. And then you have the ability to have white or black paper in the front. You've got beautiful colors, thick pages that those clients that are looking for a more modern look are going to absolutely love. Lastly, we have the smallest size. It can either be in a 6 by 9 or 5 by 7. This one is a 5 by 7, and we are starting to offer senior portraits within our studio space. And again, these are clientele that aren't necessarily wanting that traditional look. They're looking for something that is an art table book that's more modern, that is got their personality in it. And so putting that client's name on here with a photo of her, allowing this to be customized to the color of her dress, and then putting her name here on the binding of that really does allow for a lot of choices, a lot of options where traditional albums don't have that flexibility to meet the needs of your clients. And then mirroring that same look on the inside as well. This size is really great for grandparents as a duplicate album, whether that's for grandparents of seniors, grandparents of wedding clients. This is also just a great little gift no matter what you're doing. So we are a month to the studio of offering these albums alongside the traditional albums that we've been offering for years. And when you start to think about, great, these albums are beautiful, they're wonderful, how do I sell them? So first and foremost, keep in mind that you want to keep your cost of goods no more than 20% for your album cost of goods. Don't let it go above 20%. With that in mind, we found out something pretty surprising in comparison between the traditional albums and these Aura albums. So these albums, their cost of goods with the slipcase and with the album itself are almost similar to the wedding album, the traditional albums that we're selling and offering. Sometimes they come in under. Sometimes they come in quite a bit under. And when you're looking at a leather album versus a modern art table book, my initial thought was, well, I need to charge more as a photographer for that leather traditional album because the perceived value will be that it's higher. I'm finding that's not the case. I'm actually finding that the perceived value is almost the same, that these are selling at a higher rate than I thought they would because of the customizable aspect and because they're being offered with a slipcase, whereas our traditional albums in studio, you have to add in the box. So as you start to price out this album, as you start to think about offering this to your clientele, keep that in mind that our perceived value as photographers, knowing the cost of goods, may be very different than the perceived value of your potential clients. Keep that in mind, stress test it, check it out, play with that, but you may find the same thing is similar for yourself in your own studio space. So lastly, you may be asking, okay, how hard or how easy is this process? Because designing a traditional album, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. We've been doing it for years. I will say that there was a slight learning curve for myself because I didn't read. When I went to order it, I looked at the slip cover and the slip case, and I wasn't sure if both were wrapped in fabric, if both were designed in Photoshop. And so I had to kind of check through that. The case actually on the outside here, this cover is easily designed in Photoshop. You can download a template from H&H's website in the same way that you can download a template guide for the album covers themselves. Now, you're still going to have to do a little bit of work on your own. You're going to have to customize it with the font, with the way the images fall into the cover itself, and you're going to have to read and pay attention where things fall because the first time that I pulled it out of Photoshop, the part on the spine was not exactly where it needed to be, so I had to go back into Photoshop and do that part. Ultimately, though, when you're picking this part, if you are choosing a color, you're doing that when you order the album, and you can literally take an eyedropper tool over a photo and match the color that you want. So again, the options are endless. There is a very tiny, tiny learning curve that you just have to make sure that you read, pay attention. Otherwise, it's super simple, takes a limited amount of time, and you're going to absolutely love offering these to your clients in your studio space. So in conclusion, if you are tired of offering just traditional wedding or portrait albums to your clients and you want something that's a little more modern, a little bit more personalized for your client, then the Aura album from H&H Color Lab is going to be exactly what you need for your studio space this year. And if you have questions about ordering this album or the process, leave it in a comment below. I would love to hear from you. And thanks for watching.